Life in a world that keeps changing. Think that it's progress you're making. Copy and paste pretty faces all the time. Pictures so perfect we play.
Hello everyone, welcome to Anointed Lady TV, the home of news and politics. If it is your first time in this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like what we do on this channel, hit on the subscribe button, also put on the notification bell so you'll be notified by YouTube anytime we drop a new video. And if you are returning subscribers, thank you very much for always coming back to watch our videos. On this platform, we drop videos every day and we react to every video that come our way. And on this very video, I will be watching with you. And after watching, let's go to the comment section and drop our opinion constructively. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. See you next time.
Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Arise News on its 10-year anniversary. He praised the channel's effort in promoting pride among Nigerians, saying, and I quote, "I pay my respects to Arise News on this iconic historic occasion, marking a proud chapter in the development of broadcasting industry in the country. I urge you not to just give news, but also to mold the thinking of our people to appreciate positive developments brought about under the aegis of the change agenda of our administration." He added that the media should continue to lead the way in transforming society, end of quote. Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has also congratulated Arise News on its 10-year anniversary. He hailed Arise as one that holds great promises, saying, and I quote, 10 years after, Arise has become a broadcast channel of choice that has deployed IT and innovation in telling the African and Nigerian story in refreshing ways. I'm proud of the TV network for a decade of groundbreaking journalism, end of quote.
The previous occasion to the Diesel Group, to Arise News at 10, to the Arise Fashion Week, the main comment is on what the president has said and what Atiku Abubakar has said. And congratulations are in order. It's a fitting recognition of how Arise News and the entire, Arise News Diesel Group, has been able to promote the African story, promote the narrative. And it's good to see the president, congratulating Arise News, and also Atiku Abubakar congratulating Arise News and joining Arise News and this day newspaper, which both belong to the same group. However, to both persons, I think what is more important for leaders is to promote the role of the media in society, and for our leaders to continue to realize that the role of the media is a constitutional role under Section 22 of the Constitution, and also Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution. What we have seen before now is harassment of the media, both by state actors and non-state actors, and every attempt to abbreviate the scope for free expression. What Arise News represents, what the Disney Group represents, is this promotion of the scope for free expression, the defense of the voiceless, giving voice to the voiceless in society, and that is where the objectives of governance and that of the media should coalesce. So for President Buhari, that is leaving, he still has one major assignment, the 2023 general elections, and to ensure that in keeping with this is praise for Arise News and this day, that he defends the rights of the media, and also that whoever is coming in as president, whether it is Atiku or the APC or Labour Party or the NNPP, realizes that the media is part of the development process. So it's not, it's something that goes beyond, now. It is something that goes into the future, and we hope that the media will be given its pride of place as a fourth estate of the realm.
All right. So I don't understand why the federal government is responding to what I said, because the federal government is not part of it. And I referred to elements in the villa, and I know who I'm referring to, and those that are in the villa know who I'm referring to. And with the greatest respect, even Lai Mohammed, my brother, knows who I'm referring to. And I think it's inappropriate for him as Minister of Information of Nigeria to respond to a statement that specifically referred to individuals rather than any institution. if I had said the villa is against us, then I would expect Garba Shehu or Adeshina, my two brothers, to respond to me. If I said the federal government was frustrating the APC, then I would expect Lai Mohammed to respond. Why he responded to that, I cannot fathom, frankly. I still stand by my words that there appears to be very strong evidence of a conspiracy to incite voters against the APC in the forthcoming elections by coming up with ad hoc decisions and policies that are not well thought out, that have not received widespread consultation and a whole of government approach to incite the voters to vote against the APC at all levels.
Two, some people have said, well, the motive is probably an attempt to force down the throat of the government, a review of the Naira redesign policy. So what again is the motive? That's a question to ask. Three, he says the president can be exonerated. That is, the president is not at fault in any way. But he said in 2021, he advised the president to remove fuel subsidy, but that the fifth columnist did not allow the president to do so. Okay, did he also advise the president that there is poverty in the land, that there is unemployment in the land, that inflation rate is over 21%? Did he also advise the president that waste and means of 22.7 trillion is going to jeopardize the future of Nigeria? So exonerating the president and exonerating the CBN governor looks like a tactical move. Again, what is the motive? Number three, he says he will disclose the identity of the fifth columnist on February 27 after the elections. Why does he have to wait till February 27? Why not before the election? Why not now? Before he shows up on another TV station around this period. Number five now. He used his appearance on some of the TV channels to abuse other candidates. In fact, he says Peter Obi is just a Nollywood actor and that he's better off in Nollywood. Okay, why the obsession with other political parties when the APC itself has very serious problems? So, but in due course, we will see what all of this is all about. But I'm sure Nasir Rufai will defend himself and say that he has a right to his own opinions, as does everyone else.
I mean, we are not surprised. It's targeted and it's politics season. But the question we should ask is, number one, who are those people? Can he name them? I doubt if he can name them because it's all part of a political game. The problem now is that President Muhammadu Buhari's decision with the Naira policy is affecting them. They cannot mop up a lot of cash. You're seeing the blowback on the lives of the people because the cash the politicians are mopping up, the little Naira that is in circulation that they are mopping up, is leading to the scarcity for average Nigerians like you and me. That's why people go to the ATM card, they can't get it, and the banks say they don't have. So that game is already playing out. And they tried last week because the president giving an extension was as a result of certain meetings held last week. And that's why here, we hope that President Buhari has the political will to follow through this. Another meeting is going to happen today. We hope after that meeting, we don't get more extensions. Please, President Muhammadu Buhari, this is your legacy to the hard-suffering Nigerians. Let it be. Free and fair elections. Do not allow anybody to conflate things for you. Because after the meeting last week, we got extension. Hope after meetings this week, we will not get another extension. He says he has evidence. You should provide the evidence that people are conspiratorial. They don't want the APC candidate to get it. So this is a political game that I'm sure that Nigerians are reading. All of a sudden, like Dr. Abadi pointed out, a media blitz, 4 top media houses, even the BBC Hausa service, stoking up the conversation. Sometimes I would have wished that he puts the same effort to the insecurity in his states in the cry for help. But it's politics season. And you see, when politicians, the thing they know how to do is to blow the whistle and to be very cryptic, but they will not say it all. Just like we remember the certain governor that said at a point in time, he was going to announce people for him to support, but we never heard anything. Why wait till the 27th? Say it now.
But one more point that should be added. Why is it only the APC?
Dr. Abati.
There are 18 presidential candidates.
But we know.
It's only the APC grumbling.
It is obvious. The political whistle was first blown in Abeokuta. Since then, all of them have been going in that circle. Here are all their surrogates. They don't want to directly attack the president, so they attack Emefiele first. And when you say justify the attack, they can't justify the attack. Oh, the president is not the bad person. Hear all the surrogates in the coming days. It's one refrain, Emefiele, Emefiele, Emefiele. But when meetings were held last week, it was with the president. And Emefiele had to comply. Please, President Muhammadu Buhari, you signed electoral laws into being. The thing we tout as your legacy is this electoral law. Please ensure you deliver free and fair elections. Nigerians will love you for it and respect you.
Going to push to the president. Will the president listen to them? I believe if they can get through these hiccups, these bottlenecks that is making Nigerians queue for us to get 20,000 Naira or less, as the case may be in some banks, then there will be no need for this long extension the APC governors are canvassing till the end of the year. But these are issues that we have to deal with as February 10 deadline approaches. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper also has that story. Emefiele directs banks to pay new notes over the counter. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, I just look at the story beside the masthead. No sit-at-home order in Southeast on election day. IPOB. Yes, good to hear this, that IPOB also want election because, you know, when IPOB gives instruction in the East, in the Southeast, well, people comply because they don't want to get hurt. All manner of people, whether Eastern Security Network and other elements, take advantage of this shutdown, especially on Mondays, to unleash mayhem when people try to defy that. So it's good to hear that IPOB also is very much interested in having this election, the general election, February 25 and March 11, take place in the Southeast without hiccup. Yeah. Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, yes, I just leave the lead story, which has to do with the Naira exchange. Now, the story just beside the photograph there, PDP accuses Wike of anti-party activities, denies working with APC. Yes, because, yes, recall that the reason Governor Wike gave for cancelling the permit given to the PDP for the users of the Adokia Mesemaka Stadium was that some groups within the APC were also coming to join the PDP rally. And of course, Tony Cole, the governorship candidate of APC, was mentioned, which he has since denied that there's no such arrangement. And of course, the PDP saying that Wike is just playing politics with the stadium. Of course, we expect every governor in every state to give all political parties access to public facilities to use for their campaigns, irrespective of how they feel about that party. It doesn't matter if the party is your own party and you remain aggrieved over time. Now, the Business Day newspaper, Nigerians seek foreign degrees as local faculty quality flounders. Yes. Oh, that's all we have.
The producers are saying your segment has timed out. Thank you very much. Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom has alleged that there is a plot to assassinate him by an unnamed group. During a press conference at the government house in the capital of Makurdi, Ortom said some people are accusing him of masterminding an alleged genocide against Fulani pastoralists. He says he's been blamed for being responsible for the recent airstrike that claimed the lives of several herders in Kwatiri, a community bordering Benue and Nasarawa states.
I consider this allegation and blackmail targeted at my person and the government of Benue State as part of grand conspiracy by enemies of the state to eliminate me. Since 2017, when we enacted the open grazing prohibition and ranching establishment law, I have escaped 7 assassinations attempts. Those behind the evil plots have not hidden their motive. They have made me an enemy for choosing to stand with my people and defending their rights. Our livestock guards operate within the boundaries of Benue State and not permitted by law to bear arms because we are law.
Joining us now from Makurdi, Benue State, is Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State. Thank you very much for joining us, Governor Samuel Ortom.
Thank you very much, Ruben, and the other crew.
Welcome to the morning show. Well, very quickly, I mean, I've read your reactions to the petition that was purportedly written against you by 52 Fulani elite, as they are described, to the president, accusing you of the various things we mentioned in the introduction. But in your response, and also in the response by your spokespersons, they've targeted just one person out of the 52, and that would be Emir Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. He's only the one being targeted as the person, as a mastermind of the allegations against you. Why target one person out of 52 as reported? Secondly, this is a petition written to the president. Have you also considered, or have you written a counter petition to the president to explain your side of the story instead of taking the matter straight to the court of public opinion?
Thank you very much, Ruben. It was just natural to single the dethroned and deposed emir, former emir of Kano. And the reason is very simple. He had earlier made a video clip which was circulated widely on social media. And I carefully listened to it. I gave to 2 people who understand Hausa very well to interpret it to me, and they did. And they targeted me before the petition was written and signed. And I also saw that on social media. I did say it was an unknown group because they did not mention name, but he was the ringleader. If you look at the petition, he was the first person that signed. So in other words, for me, since he's leading that team, he is responsible for putting the team together. So I mentioned him specifically because he's the figurehead of that plot against me. Secondly, I've also written a petition, a counter petition to the presidency too, because it's amazing. I don't know where myself or the Benue State government is coming into this matter, something that took place in Nasarawa State. I paid a condolence visit to my colleague, the governor of Nasarawa State. And this is one of the things that I took up. Then, this petition was not made public. But the video clip I watched, former Emir of Kano, Alhaji Sanusi, castigating me, profiling me against and setting me up against the Fulani nation. I made some remarks and I said, look, for prominent people in the society, looking at the security challenges we have today in our country, when something happens, for such a person, he should have access to me or the entire governors in the country. And if something happens, it would have been better for him, one, to verify from the governor of Nasarawa State where this thing took place. And if possible, he would have called me. He would have tried to confirm for me what really transpired. I tell you the truth, the narrative that is going on is wrong. The point is that I did advise that instead of making inflammatory statements that will aggravate and worsen the fragile security situation we have in our various states, it would have been better to find a way. Even if you want to advise, you advise better than insinuating and profiling someone against an ethnic group. That was wrong. And the following day, I now saw this petition. And he was the ringleader. He was the first person that signed this petition. And I felt that, is it a personal issue? Otherwise, this didn't happen. As my colleague, the governor of Nasarawa State, is my neighbor, I went to him and I condoled with him because I don't know what really transpired. But one thing that is sure, there was a statement from Defense Headquarters, and I quote, "What I can tell you is that we are very professional in the conduct of our operations. They are also intelligence-driven. Also, our code of conduct and standard of operations are in tandem with the international best practices." This was a statement from Major General Musa Dam-Madami, Director of Defense Media Operations. So if something happened and a statement came out, it would have been better for Sanusi to find out from the Defense Headquarters further, or best, find out from the governor of Nasarawa State what really happened. Because I'm not the governor of Nasarawa State, so I don't know what happened. But for me, I feel that human lives must be respected. When people are killed, irrespective of where they come from or who they are, we should sympathize because it can be us tomorrow. And I went there, the governor lost his son. I used that opportunity to condole with him and also condole with the families of the victims. And as a way of finding peace between all of us, everybody knows that there is a prohibition of open grazing law. Whatever we're doing about arresting cattle, it is there in the law. Those cattle that were retrieved were not taken through Apanaja. They were taken by road because we don't permit it. Once cattle are arrested and fines paid, what we advise people to do is to take them by truck. And in our case, that was what happened. And so everybody knows that we have a law in place. And the remaining 150 cattle that were there, I discussed with my colleague, the governor of Nasarawa State, and I said, look, for the sake of peace and in sympathy with what has happened, though I have no facts with me, whether what is being the narrative now is true, but I know that people were killed. So in sympathy with them, I had told the governor that the remaining 150 cows should be released. And I paid the fine. I decided on my own for the sake of peace and sympathy. I paid this. So I am surprised after Defense Headquarters have issued a statement on this matter, and it was in the public domain.
All right.
For Sanusi to come out and profile me was what was strange to me. So I have also written a petition.
Okay, Governor Ortom. Now, two things I'd like to just have you clarify. The first is that the 14th Emir, Lamido Sanusi, has said that one of the grouses he has against you is that you haven't managed well the diversity of the people in Benue State, as perhaps your counterparts in Plateau State, Governor Lalong, has done. So in terms of your management and handling is one of the criticisms. The second part of my question is with regards to your statement around the attempts on your life 7 times since the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law was passed by yourself. I'd like you to expound on that, because that's a heavy statement that you have made.
Thank you very much. Look, Sanusi is not from Benue State, and he cannot be part of what we do here in Benue State. He can only advise. And if it's a good advice, we can take it here. That law prohibiting open grazing was the initiative of Benue people, and I represent Benue people. I'm not the governor of Plateau State. But let me ask you, have you not heard? Have you not seen? Have we not witnessed the massacre in Plateau State where people are killed? So how do you advise me to go and join or recommend Plateau way of doing things? But, I don't want to get into that. There are complexities. There are peculiarities in all the states. I have a different state to manage. My brother, the governor of Plateau State, has a different state to manage. You know that initially when 93 people were killed, 73 people were killed, my brother came out castigating them, but he later sent a delegation to apologize to me that it was wrong for him to have done that. And since then, I have been witnessing series of killings and deaths and massacre in Plateau State. It is left for my brother to manage. I cannot go and teach him or show him how to manage the security situation in Plateau State. We can only share intelligence if we want to help each other. But for Sanusi to tell me that I should use Plateau model, as far as I know, is not better than Benue State, if not worse. If not worse. But he is managing his own things his own way. But I have to manage my own. There is no law prohibiting open grazing in Plateau State. Here there is a law prohibiting open grazing. And this went through due process. State Executive Council, it went through the House of Assembly. 4 public hearings were conducted, and all the people involved, pastoralists and all that were involved. As I talk to you, the implementation of this law is not just targeted at Fulani men. It's targeted at everyone who rears cattle. What we are simply saying that if you want to rear cattle in Benue State, you should ranch. And that is it. None of them have come forward to ask for ranching permit and also land to do their ranching. And so the matter is very simple. We're managing our way, and I am being targeted. But the truth is that when you target me, you're targeting Benue people. Okay. Because I am doing this in their, on their behalf. Secondly, the
allegation on attempts on your life.
The allegation.
7 attempts.
It is 7 good times. And this came from Fulanis themselves. One of it was on Boko Road when I went to the farm. And everybody saw it. The Inspector General of Police sends the then intelligent police officer who is now in prison. He came here, and I was told that 17 people were arrested. As I talk to you up to today, nobody has been prosecuted. All those people were released. And so the other one, it was the Fulanis themselves that came to me to reveal to me that these were their attempts to eliminate me. And they were surprised that each time they attempt, they failed. So it came from the Fulanis themselves. I still have Fulani people here. I've not sent anybody away. But the law also prohibits cattle rustling. So that one, they will not talk about it. As I talk to you, there are certain people who are Tea people, the Doøm people, who rustle cattle, and they were arrested and prosecuted, and some are in prison as I talk to you, just like some other herders who violate our law. We take them. We have not discriminated in enforcing our law here in Benue State. We are law-abiding. We believe in the right thing to do. Everything we do here, we do it according to the law. And the Constitution allows me. This is one of the allegations that they raised against me, that why should the presidency allow me to be operating a law prohibiting open grazing? And I feel very sad because I tell people.
Okay. Governor, thank you so much. There's a lot of ground to cover. And good to see you. Happy New Year to you. Real quickly, I'd like to ask, have you been able to reach out to Emir Sanusi? Have you confirmed that video, independently verify the video of what he said? Have you reached out to him and the group? Secondly, I'd also like to ask, what's your knowledge about the bombing of those herders? What happened? Who reported those herders that were there? I want you to tell me about that because we've not really heard your side to that. And I want to ask you about your local brigade that you set up. Are they authorized now to carry arms? And what has been their effectiveness? Because when you launched, it was televised here on Arise TV. Those questions, sir.
Thank you. I've not been able to reach out to Sanusi, especially, it is said that once bitten, twice shy. If it were the video alone, it would have been a different thing. But signing a petition and releasing it to the media, I confirmed that it did not mean well for me. And that was why I had to respond to him through the media too. As far as I'm concerned, that was it. On the second question was what?
The second question was about what really happened with the bombing of those herders. Was there a case of somebody reporting them who even availed the intelligence? What really happened? I want to get your side of that story.
As I told you, I visited my colleague, the governor. So that question would have been better asked to the governor of Naira State because I am the governor of Benue State. And I did not report anybody. I just heard about the bombing just like any other person. I was confused. I called my security advisor. And then a statement came from the defense headquarters. So I think if you want to verify this fact, he is the governor of Naira State and the defense headquarters. They should be able to say that. I know nothing about this matter, and I keep saying my livestock guard or community volunteer guard were not involved in this matter. And of course, we don't carry unlawful weapons. Even the livestock guards that we have, that goes to your third question. They carry lawful weapons that are licensed. You will recall that some time ago, because the Fulani herders go about with AK-47 killing people at will. And I decided that, let me try this. I know that it is not legal for a community volunteer guard to carry arms or civilians to carry arms. But as a law-abiding government, what I simply did was to write to the presidency. The letter was there for 3 months, and until I raised alarm again, and it was replied to me that it will not be right to issue licenses. When you have bandits all over the place and nobody is making effort to apprehend them and they are killing people every day, and as I talk to you, just 3 days ago, a DPO was killed, 5 people were murdered. There is no week that I don't lose up to 10 people. Since 2017, up to 6,000 people have been killed in the course of these herders coming in the name of rearing cattle. Their real agenda is taking over our land, killing people, sending them away. I have over 2 million IDPs that are suffering in the sun, in the rain, and are hungry. So this is the point that I am making, but I have never done anything illegal. And when I got a letter from the presidency declaring that we have no right to acquire AK-47 for our community volunteer guards, we are making do with what we have. What will you do with them gone?
Okay, Governor.
What will you do with action?
Okay, yes. Governor Ortom. Well, there will be people watching you who will say that they are surprised, that you are surprised that 52 Fulani persons have written a petition to the president of Nigeria about you and your impressions about the Fulani ethnic stock. Because you will recall that persistently you have always blamed the Fulani for trying to take over Nigeria. On one occasion, you accused the president himself that the president is being very partial to the Fulani people to take over Nigeria. On another occasion, when you were hosting members of the G5, you also, complained about the presidential candidate of the PDP, and he kicked back, and he said you were profiling the Fulani as bandits and terrorists, and there was that controversy. And now, I guess this petition, is a fallout of all of that. And people say you are very quick to profile people ethnically, Idoma people, Tiv people. Even on this program, you have mentioned Fulani people, you have mentioned Idoma people, you have mentioned the TV people. Don't you think you are guilty as charged, even if nobody should seek to assassinate or eliminate anybody for expressing a point of view?
Anyway, thank you very much, Ruben. How I wish you were in my shoes. And then you appreciate the challenges better. Am I the first person who have talked about profiling people or the Fulani? Have you not heard what the Sultan said sometime about banditry in Nigeria? Have you not heard what the governor of Katsina said before? Have you not heard what the Taraba governor said? Have you not seen what is happening in other parts of Nigeria? Am I the one saying it? But to show you that I am not against any ethnic group, I'm a Tiv man. And I preside over Idoma people here, Igede people, and other ethnic groups. But if they do wrong, I would say they have done wrong. I have just told you that the law prohibiting over open grazing and provision for ranching also provides that if anyone rustles livestock, he should be arrested and prosecuted. And 2 people have been arrested and prosecuted. It's not just the Fulani people. Here in Benue State, we live peacefully. We live with all ethnic groups, irrespective of where you come from. We live in peace with all. And I had an issue when the presidential candidate of PDP profiled me and said that he had big quarrel with me. I confronted him through a text as the presidential candidate of PDP. He apologized that that thing was not accurate. My only challenge with him, I replied to him that he needed to make the public also understand that he responded to me that the report that I read or I saw was not accurate. Because it was wrong for him to say that I profile only Fulani people. If the Tiv people, they do something wrong, I will say it. Me, I don't believe in coloring white black and so on. So that is my own style. And so I am not against anyone, but if somebody does something that is wrong, it should be told. And if I do a one that is wrong, I should say it. I could give you a typical example.
You're going to give an example.
I was going to give you a typical example. Out of anger in Makurdi when G5 came, and arising from what Vice President, the presidential candidate of APC, of the PDP said, I was angry, coupled with when my people in Benue State, 38 indigenous people, farmers, were killed, and he loosely said they should learn to live, the Benue people should learn to live with their neighbors because they pay tax. I was not happy with that. And I said, look, I am against Atiku. I will not work for a Fulani man. I think that was extreme. And I felt that that was a logical fallacy because it is not all Fulani people that are bad. There are good Fulani people that have contributed even in my personal life, and I have also contributed in adding value to their personal lives. Wow. So when I discovered that out of anger, I went out of my way. I apologize to all Fulani. I apologize to Nigeria and to everyone who felt not happy with what I said. So in this country, we must respect the rule of law. We must fight for justice, equity, and fairness. And where we are wrong, we should be able to come out boldly to say that we are wrong so that things can work.
All right. Thank you so very much, the Governor of Benue State, Governor Samuel Ortom, for your time this morning.
Even as we speak, some governors of the APC are arriving at the presidential villa to have a conversation with the president over these new notes. What's your own take? I mean, it would be nice to hear from another presidential candidate out of the 18.
Yeah, I think it's a good policy that is implemented in a wrong way. That is mine. One, it's good because we're looking at the election. Everybody that understands what's happening understand the purpose of it. However, it has a very wrong policy, wrong impact on the economy, especially at this time. Look at what is happening in the city, let alone in the rural community, where the level of digital transaction has gotten nowhere. I receive calls from the village, from everywhere, telling us daily of the stress. So this is it. I believe that the policy by itself is an APC policy to checkmate APC by themselves. That is why we see all this opera around them. And for candidates like us, it's good because we now have more confidence that vote buying and the rest of these things that they normally do would reduce to a large extent. So we believe that God is working out good for us. I mean, candidates like us in a court party who, before the election, we were thinking, oh, how do we ensure that we get our vote and our vote counted? It's a good policy for election, but bad for the economy.
Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you very much, Professor Imumelen, presidential candidate of the Accord Party.
Exactly what I said. I'm a quantity surveyor. I am mathematically tuned to be accurate even in my use of words. What I said was, we are convinced that there are elements in the villa, some elements in the villa that want APC to lose the elections. I did not say the federal government. I did not say Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. I said APC, all right? So I don't understand why the federal government is responding to what I said, because the federal government is not part of it. And I referred to elements in the villa, and I know who I'm referring to, and those that are in the villa know who I'm referring to.
Well, in another development, the governor on Thursday dismissed the chances of the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi winning the presidential election. In a live television interview, the Kaduna State governor said Peter Obi does not have the necessary support across all states to win the election and described him as a Nollywood actor. Let's take a listen before we take some reactions.
How can Peter Obi win any election? Peter Obi is polling 1% in Sokoto, 2% in Katsina, 5% in Kano. That's why the votes are. All states are not equal. The fact that you are doing 70% in Anambra State does not mean somebody doing 10% in Kano is not better than you. Kano is 4 million votes that actually happen. Anambra is what? The number of votes in Anambra is the size of one local government in Kaduna State. So all states are not equal. If you poll states and you make them equal, yes, Peter Obi will sweep the southeastern states. He will do well in South-South. Where else? He's not polling well in Southwest, other than a drop in the ocean in Lagos. He's polling in the Christian enclaves in the north. He's polling well, but how many are they? How many? Peter Obi cannot win the election. He doesn't have the number of states. He doesn't have 25% in more than, the last time we checked, in more than 16 states. He can't go anywhere. Peter Obi is a Nollywood actor, and that's all he will be. This election is between the APC and the PDP because they have the footprint, they have the spread. Ethnicity and religious bigotry will not take you anywhere. And that's what the Labour Party campaign is about.
All right, let's take some tweets. Well, this person wrote, I totally agree with El-Rufai. Peter Obi is a Nollywood actor. In fact, Dati is a Kannywood actor too. Common trader who is campaigning with just 4 people in a room. Peter Obi cannot even win his state, Anambra, let alone 36 states. Labour Party is going nowhere. Thanks, El-Rufai, for this revelation. Well, Okpara wrote, I really understand the pain this man feels. No one will take it lightly with a Peter Obi that was supposed to be unable to pull 200 people in El-Rufai's Kaduna, but instead did 3 successful rallies in El-Rufai's Kaduna. El-Rufai, please accept our condolence. Well, another person wrote, El-Rufai is stirring up controversy. This idea of population density in the north is a myth. It's been debunked. The Middle Belt and southern states can't be paying more tax, consuming more resources, and spending more on energy. Yet, the North claim a higher population. You know, I'm coming to you, Rufai, because you always quote data and statistics.
And if he says a presidential candidate is a Nollywood actor, it speaks so much of him as a person and the character. It speaks so much of Mr. El-Rufai as a character. Presidential candidate of a political party, it has degenerated to you abusing presidential candidates now and calling them all sorts of slurry names. Anyway, if Peter Obi's presidency is comedy to him, I would tell him something that is not comedy to him. The fact that workers have been denied their rights in Kaduna State is not comedy. The fact that there's massive insecurity and killings in Kaduna State is not a Nollywood film. I think he should face that in a state, probably act that well and ensure there's a resolution to the season film of insecurity and Nollywood movie of insecurity happening in the state first before you abuse another presidential candidate. The things he said yesterday, I also challenged him to name the names of people that are against the presidential ambition of the APC presidential candidates.
Institutions, if voted into power, Tinubu told the students to call him a bastard if he didn't fulfill his promise.
A máa dá ilé-iṣẹ́ sílẹ̀ fún àwọn ọmọ wa tí ò rí léèwé wọ̀. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ wà léèwé, ẹ lọ kọ sílẹ̀. Ẹ pè mí ní ọmọ àlè tí ọjọ́ yín bá kọjá ọdún 8. Ọdún 8 lẹ máa fi kàwé. Ọdún 4 la pè fún yín. Ọdún 4 yẹn ò ní yẹ. Ẹni tí ò lówó, àyà lówó. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o. Iye náà bá ní kẹsàn-án ní school fees. I saw.
Dr. Abati, over to you.
Well, incidentally, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu said a lot of other things yesterday at that campaign. I think this was in Osogbo.
Yes.
He talked about creating jobs. He talked about industries. He talked about education. He talked about tackling poverty, you know, and all of those usual things. However, the one that has caught the headline was what he said in Yoruba, saying, you people will spend 8 years in school. Well, I want to try to get into his mind. You know, maybe what the presidential candidate of the APC is saying is that he wants to win and he wants to do a second term. And what is good for the goose is good for the gander. So if he gets in there during the first time and the second term, Nigerian students should just stay with him to complete 2 terms. Except that the Constitution of Nigeria does not say students are entitled, university students are entitled to a term of 8 years. Even if you are doing medicine by 6 years, you are out of the school. So for him to do that, he will need to change the curriculum so that people who are reading 4-year courses can also do a second term. You know, I imagine that maybe that's where it's coming from. But where the problem is with secondary school education. We have a 6334 system. Is it going to change the junior secondary school, primary school, and senior secondary school to fit into 8 years? But whatever it is, don't be surprised. Before the end of the day, his spokespersons will come and explain that maybe we don't understand. That what he's saying is that students should be entitled to 2 terms.
My people, as I tell una say I go come back, I don't come back. Una welcome back. How una see am? I want una leave una comment for the comment section there. Una tell me how una see the matter, whether it good or it bad. If it good, make una let me know. If it's still bad, me una still let me know. Because me no fit, I no fit see am. Let me wash am alone. I need to bring and come give una wey be my people. Wey dey here, me una follow me shook mouth put whether it dey good or it dey bad. So if it dey right, una still leave una comment below. If it dey bad, una still leave una comment below. Una remember say everybody gets freedom of speech. Okay? All right. Thank you very much.